各位來賓、各位觀眾，歡迎出席文學院優秀教師及學生嘉許典禮。典禮現在正式開始。Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ceremony in honor of exemplary teachers and students on the Dean's List of the Faculty of Arts. The ceremony will now begin. 我係今日嘅大會司儀，翻譯係3年級學生冼浩晴。I'm Jade Sin, a Year 3 student from the Department of Translation, your MC for today. 現在有請文學院院長唐小冰教授為我哋致歡迎詞。May I invite Professor Max Tang, Dean of Arts, to deliver a welcoming address. Dean Tang, please.
Hello. Welcome to the online ceremony honoring the 24 instructors who received the Faculty of Arts Outstanding Teaching Award 2021, and the nearly 370 students on the Dean's List for their outstanding academic performance in the school year of 2020-21. I'm Max Tang, Dean of the Faculty of Arts. I offer my heartiest congratulations to all the recipients of the Outstanding Teaching Award from the faculty, and to all the students on the Dean's List this year. To the 24 colleagues who won the Outstanding Teaching Award, I am most grateful and find your dedication to teaching inspiring. You have set a good example for all of us. To the students on the Dean's List, I'm very proud of your achievements, especially against the backdrop of the ongoing pandemic. I know we will continue to work together and continue to do our best. I hope you will enjoy the following video as it introduces some of the award-winning instructors and student representatives. Their remarks and stories will remind us why we're here and how we can aspire to achieve even more. I look forward to our next year's ceremony, which I hope will be conducted in person. In the meantime, please take good care, stay healthy, and stay focused. Thank you.
多謝唐院長。Thank you, Dean Tang. 現在宣布2021年度文學院傑出教學獎得獎名單。We will now present the Faculty of Arts Outstanding Teaching Award 2021. The following is the sharing by the representatives of the awardees of the Teaching Award.
Why do you like the teaching profession?
There are lots of reasons. I suppose it's an extension of my broader interest in history. It's sometimes said that professors see teaching as a nuisance, something that gets in the way of their academic research. But I see teaching and research as intimately connected, two sides of the same coin. Being a good researcher makes you a better teacher, and being a good teacher makes you a better researcher. I love learning about history, and I love talking about history, so of course I love teaching history too. I'll take any chance I get to share my intellectual passions with others. There's also something quite appealing on a human level about contributing to a young person's education. After all, I used to be a student myself, so I know what it's like to be in their situation, and I know what I found useful. It's rewarding to be able to pass on my experience to others.
For me, a teacher is not only a profession, it is also like a craftsmanship. I like the term education as craftsmanship because craftsmanship lists are creative and designed mind, and also passion, care, and attention to detail. It's about the ability to create something new and high quality knowledge that delivers values and impacts. In humanities, educators could give impacts to different aspects of our students' lives, like cognitive, affective, and ethical dimensions. So educators could bring so much influence to both individuals and society. If this influence happens for me, a sense of accomplishment will be achieved.
What do you love most about being a teacher?
I regard myself as a curious lifelong learner. I believe that this is the major reason why I really enjoy teaching. I always ask questions and actively seek out my answers by myself and also with my students. Curious about new knowledge and new practices makes teaching more fun and enjoyable. So I like the notion of learning communities for my class, teaching and learning. In the class, no matter students or teachers, we are as a group to explore and create new knowledge and practices together.
I often think about something that a friend of mine said when I was working as a teaching assistant during my PhD. The best thing about teaching is that it reminds you why you love the thing that you're teaching. It's easy to lose sight of that as an academic. You can get quite wrapped up in abstruse or obscure details and forget what it was that originally drew you to the subject. In a way, teaching helps you to see your field from a student's perspective again. It's quite exciting. I feel as if I'm going on that journey of discovery and realization along with my students. There's something very satisfying about seeing students rise to the occasion and really understand the topic. It's also great for me to hear my students' own views about what I teach. They can sometimes be quite insightful and even help me understand the topic better.
What is the most memorable experience or biggest achievement in your teaching career so far?
I don't think that there's a single moment that stands out above the others. To be honest, my teaching career hasn't been that long, just 3 years as a professor at CUHK. The only real teaching experience I had before that was when I worked as a teaching assistant during my postgraduate student days. So I still have many years of experience ahead of me, hopefully. One recent thing that I've been involved in, though, something that I've enjoyed quite a lot, is a teaching project with one of my colleagues to create a collection of museum-quality replica objects from pre-modern Western history. It includes items like coins, manuscripts, pottery, jewelry, art and sculpture, and so on. We started using this material collection in teaching our classes on world history. Normally, our students only encounter the history in books, so it's exciting to be able to give them a hands-on experience, literally. My students really got into studying the objects and didn't want to stop talking about them. I actually had to remind them to leave at the end of the class.
The most memorable experience is my students shared with me how my teaching inspired them to transform themselves and serve other people in other societies. Like one of my students went to Germany to help solve refugee issues. Also, in one of my courses related to religion and art, my students wrote art catalogs revealing how religious visual art items, which was stored in virtual museums, carried personal, social, and cultural meaning in a specific period. I put my students' works on the department's website to share with the public. I enjoy this practice because students and I could work together to be knowledge producers.
What is the secret of your success?
During my undergraduate studies, one of my professors always reminded me that as an educator, you should be ready to change. Education is an enterprise for the future, preparing our students to live and work in the future. After several years of teaching, I gradually understand that ready to change involves several character traits like humanity, openness, and sympathetic understanding. These character traits help me cooperate with my students and solve problems well, regardless of how success is defined.
I don't know if I would call it a secret, but a central part of my approach to teaching has always been the idea that students learn best when they learn for themselves. The technical term for it would be autonomous learning. The best thing that I can do as a teacher is to provide students with the guidance and intellectual tools that they need to learn autonomously. So I don't just teach facts about history. Anybody can read a book or do a Google search to learn facts. More important, I teach skills and approaches to help students make sense of those facts for themselves. I also give students frequent short exercises to help them practice those skills, always making sure to offer detailed feedback so that they can keep improving. The other thing is that it's vital to treat students as mature thinkers and historians in the making. For example, I never teach from textbooks, only from real primary sources and works of academic scholarship. I know that a lot of students find this difficult at first, but over time they do get used to it and come to realize that they're perfectly capable of understanding it for themselves. It might sound like a cliche, but it's true. If you set high expectations for students, then you're giving them a chance to excel. But if you set low expectations, then students have no incentive or opportunity to improve themselves.
多謝兩位老師嘅分享。Thank you for the sharing from the two teacher representatives. 現在宣布2020至21年度院長榮譽錄。We will now present the Dean's List 2020 to 21. 接住落嚟係院長榮譽錄學生代表分享。The following is the sharing by the students' representatives.
Being courteous, confident, and consistent are some of the good qualities possessed by outstanding students. But today, I'd like to highlight two other important attributes. First, grit. It means a combination of passion and perseverance. Take myself as an example. I practice the interpreting skills every day deliberately to enhance my performance. I listen back to the recordings to identify my weaknesses and then to eliminate them. I know that the process is tedious and exhausting, But the good students can always survive it because they are greedier than others. As for the second character, I would say it is the ability of applying what you've learned to everyday life. When watching Netflix, sometimes I'll switch between the traditional and the simplified Chinese titles just to observe the differences. I also pay attention to the English translations of the items on the menus, not to mention that of the movie subtitles or the street names and the street signs, etc. I can still recall the kind of amusement I have when I first realized why the French writer's name Hugo Victor has been translated into Yu Guo, because the letter H is always silent in French. What you've learned from courses shouldn't just stay in the essay you write, the exam you take, or the presentation you give. It should be far beyond that. It should be in your everyday life, so that not only can you consolidate your knowledge, you can also yield productive outcomes and enjoy the whole process.
The student exchange teachers are helpful and knowledgeable. The professors in our department have diverse and in-depth research interests. Their research has appeared in the representative journals and books. During the pandemic, they provide lots of the resources and teach us some skills in order to help us and enhance our interest in doing the research. Moreover, they are willing to discuss with the students in certain issues of the class. The teachers also encourage us to raise their questions and opinions in the lecture. This certainly creates more interaction with us. In different courses, I am grateful for having the group presentation to enhance my self-confidence and cooperate with other students, especially the non-local students, which I've never met before. Therefore, I want to express my gratitude to all professors who provide us with a meaningful time and experience.
I got a lot of inspiration from my CHK teachers. What impressed me most is to be patient and cautious about your research. When I was doing my MA project, my supervisor told me to clarify some very basic language data, which nearly took me 2 months. He told me that however big your framework is, and however new the tools you want to use, you still need to start from the very basic language facts. And you cannot ignore the potential problems, the logical gaps, and rush to a conclusion. You should really be sure of what you've written, and you should never lie to yourselves, which is far more important than just letting the thesis completed and getting an A. Apart from that, I was deeply touched by the strong social responsibilities that my teachers have. Say, in the course on bilingualism, the professor led us to discuss the language policies in Hong Kong and mainland China, and we looked at the difficulties the heritage speakers may face and the protection of endangered languages. This experience reminds me to keep empathetic to societal needs.
多謝3位學生代表嘅分享。Thank you for the sharing from the 3 student representatives. 今日嘅優秀教師及學生嘉許典禮已經圓滿結束，喺度再次恭喜各位得獎老師、同學以及畢業生。The ceremony comes to a close. Congratulations again to all teachers and students.